Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Royal News, where we talk about beauty tips and tricks in the industry. My name is Stephanie, for those who don't know, and today we are at Fit Therom Novi. We are going to be talking to Coach Monica and discussing a few health goals that you might have in mind. If you guys are looking for an amazing gym, Fit Therom Novi is the place to come. It's a great sense of community. It's a great place to get your workout in. Not to mention the coaches here are phenomenal with teaching you about your wellness goals and helping you as a fitness enthusiast. So come on in and stay tuned. So, Coach Monica, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
That's really good. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. This is an honor. It really is.
So you know you got to do burpees, right?
Girl.
Okay. We'll come back to that.
Nah, for real. That's okay. That's okay. I'll do my burpees. But let's jump into this real quick. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in health and wellness.
Yeah, so I have been in health and wellness formally or informally for probably the majority of my life.
Okay.
Starting in high school with sports, going through college playing sports, after college, various types of sports, but always just very interested in how the body works.
Okay.
And being able to transform bodies, myself and others. So It started off kind of a personal quest, and it turned into more of, a community initiative. Yeah.
Okay. So what got you interested in, transforming your body and transforming the bodies of others? Was it your physical appearance? Was it your mental? Like, what really motivated you to get into it?
I think a combination of things. Generally, I guess I would characterize myself as an introvert, but I always enjoyed sports.
Okay.
I've always been competitive, mostly competitive with myself.
Okay.
And I saw early on that if I put in good work, good effort, that I would get some pretty incredible returns. I use the analogy of like the tortoise and the hare, where I'm slow at everything, but I win. So I know that if I'm consistent, and doing the little things, the boring stuff, as I like to call it, that I will, eventually reach my goals.
Okay, that's really cool.
And so I saw that with myself, and I was able to, help other people kind of along the same lines.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I can like connect with that analogy for real, because I'm for real the tortoise. Like, I'm slow at almost everything, but by the time I pick it up, I got it, and you just run with it. It's like you take your time, you get into it, you progress, and it's overall better. But that's super cool. So if someone wanted to get into, fitness and things like that and just get started, so what would be some things that you would give them, like advice or tips or?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that movement is where it starts at.
Okay.
And starting small with small little things, being consistent with it. So for example, for someone who's like from the couch and not done anything, get off the couch and sit back down and get up and sit back down on a commercial break, for example.
Okay.
It's just movement. And then it starts with small little things, and then we just become consistent with those little things. And then as we get stronger, both physically but also mentally, our confidence starts to grow, and then those small things turn into something a little bit less small.
Okay.
And just through consistency, you'll be able to kind of get that confidence to get out there and maybe try something different. But it really just, how do you get started? You just start. And you don't have to get ready to get started. You just do it.
Yeah, that's like the entrepreneur mentality too, because it's like you have an idea, you run with it, and so many people are like, well, I don't know where to start, I don't know where to begin. It's like, just pick a point, and I guess that's kind of how it is with fitness. Like, me personally, like, I'm still in my beginning stages of my fitness journey. So understanding, like, sometimes I can't do everything. Like, when I see some of the coaches and stuff that are in the gym and they over here doing multiple different sessions and all this stuff, I'm like, woo, I can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? At the same time, they had a starting point. And so it's like that for everybody. We all have a starting point and stuff like that. So that's really good. So let's say someone has a debilitating illness, or not a debilitating illness, but like some sort of disability where they're struggling with moving their legs, or they're struggling with something like that. Could they still participate in some of the things that you would recommend for them, even if it's at home?
I mean, the first thing that I would always say is to make sure that you got the green light from like your doctor to make sure you're good to go.
Okay.
With some level of activity. But I mean, there's so many different ways to modify literally everything. I mean, we've had folks in the studio that have had hip replacements, knee replacements, spine fusions, have come back from strokes. Like we've seen so many different things where for us and what we do here is we meet you where you are. So there's no it's no one size fits all. We meet you where you are. And it really is that. And I forgot the question.
I'm screaming. You answered the question. No, like it was just if you have like if you're for me, for instance, I have an issue with my ankle, my left ankle, due to like previous issues in my life. I can't always like walk for long periods of time on my left ankle. However, I've noticed when I come to the gym, every time I have like a session here at the gym, you guys modify it or like do this, do what you can, just keep going, just keep going, and just keep pushing. So having encouraging words or being able to tell people that may not have the physical fitness side down packed, just telling them, okay, so you might not be able to run a mile, but you can walk a mile.
Yeah.
If you can't walk a mile, you can walk 10 minutes. If you can't walk 10 minutes, you can like stand up for X amount of time. Just getting them slowly into that. So I mean, I feel like that's awesome. You did answer the question though.
Okay.
By the way. All right. Okay. So I got another question for you. So let's talk about healthy habits. As someone who struggles with healthy habits myself, like meal prep, that's my shortcoming. How do you get into meal prep? Because I'll be honest with you, this seems like a whole lot to put into it.
I would say, so I'm going to kind of rewind it a little bit. So the first thing is about just habits. So the habit that you want to build is a habit that supports meal prepping.
Okay.
But if we kind of go backwards a little bit, habits are shaped through behaviors. So we have to create some behaviors and do them consistently so that they become a habit. So for example, you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth. Like there's no thought process behind it, we just do it. So when we're creating new habits, we have to change the behavior. So with meal prepping, for example, we can look at it like, okay, so a struggle with meal prepping may be, I don't know where to start. I don't even know where to start, for example. So the first thing is to make it easy for yourself. So that could be using a resource like a coach to give you like the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 things you need to do to prep a meal so it's easy. You don't have to do a ton of research because there's like so much information out there, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. So we can start there with making it easy for yourself. And then once you've got the instructions, then it's about, okay, well, how can I make this simple? Again, because really we use this acronym KISS, and so there's lots of, basically it's keep it stupid simple.
That makes sense.
And that's kind of the deal. So like with meal prepping, we know that we should have proteins, carbs, and some fats.
Okay.
So, we could start with, for me, I like to bulk cook my protein.
Okay.
And so I'll make all my protein at once and I will do it for a full month and freeze it. And then it's just a matter of pulling the carb that I might want to have, which is rice. And I do a bootleg version there where I get my 5-minute rice and I put it in a Pyrex with water, put it in the refrigerator and let it swell. And then it's done whenever I want it. And then I do my canned green beans. So I'm never without. So again, keeping it simple. And there's so many different ways to do that. But I think like with meal prep, one is understanding the value behind it, not just from a financial perspective, but also from time, because time is money, especially if you're on the go all the time. And if you can, save time, you're essentially saving money.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I was just going to hop into that and ask you, what if you balling on a budget? Because a lot of people, especially in today's economy, it's like you want to get healthy, you want to look better, but can you really afford it? You know what I mean? Like, what would you say? What are some cheap tips that you could give people when it comes to meal prepping? Like,
for me, it's trying to keep it simple. So I'm going to go back to that again, keeping it simple.
Yeah.
So, finding if there's a protein source or something that you like, if it's chicken, things that are going to be less expensive. Watching like Myers, for example, they always have chicken on sale.
Yeah, they do.
And then bulk preparing it using a crock pot, things where you can get a lot. You can cook it up or freeze it, however you want to do it, but basically buy it in bulk for the grocery item. And then there's going to be other foods like your carbs, that you can also get, that's buying it in bulk.
Like a bag of potatoes?
A bag of potatoes, a sack of rice or something like that.
Okay.
You can even honestly like get a buddy, because doing this with a buddy, it could be fun, because maybe one of y'all know how to cook and the other has the kitchen. I mean, it's a happy thing there. But you can also go in on the groceries too.
No, you know what? I never would have thought of that.
And then, so when you buy bulk, sometimes it's like, I don't know how I'm going to get through all this. I can't eat all this stuff, But if you do it with a buddy, then that's another way to save money on it. But planning, looking at coupons, it doesn't have to be all extravagant and super expensive stuff. It's basic things that with planning, you can manage it on a budget.
Okay, that's super cool. So we touched a little bit about the nutritional aspect, talking about meal planning and stuff like that. But when it boils down to it, you did mention having your protein, your starch, your carb, which I feel like is still a starch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I digress.
I love sweet potatoes. But
okay. Oh my God. Okay, so sweet potatoes are my thing, and then jasmine rice. I really like jasmine rice. I really enjoy jasmine rice. Oh, so good. But so as far as digging deep into that nutritional aspect, like, what are the focus points? Like, what should those be? Like, should it be, okay, should I have X amount of protein and then yada, yada, yada for like the beginners? If we're just getting into it, that might not necessarily be the easiest way for us to jump into it. So how do we keep the nutritional aspect? You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a lot of resources out there, working with, coaches, but sometimes that's not always accessible. But there are things like, there's apps and stuff out there. MyFitnessPal is one, where you can answer a series of questions, and it will kind of help put together a plan for you. So as simple as if counting calories is the way you want to go. I mean, there's so many different ways out there. I mean, there's calories, there's macros, there's there's a lot of different ways to do this.
For me, but okay.
But yeah, I mean, but there's just it's not a one size fits all, I guess is what I'm getting at. There's a lot of different ways to manage it. I think the biggest thing when it comes to nutrition is, if you just keep it really simple. When you go to the grocery store and you think about, okay, what are the things I want to put in my body? You want to put the things that are on the perimeter of the grocery store in your body. And that's going to be a great place to start, because when you get into the interior, you get into some of the more processed stuff. But when you go, you got your fruits, you got your veggies, you got your, your proteins and things like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. And because I never thought about the structure of a grocery store when you go into it, but that makes a lot of sense now. Yeah, because it's like the dairy, the eggs is on one side of the grocery store, and then you have your fruits and veggies on the other. And it all is the perimeter. You're right. So. Okay, well, we touched on nutritional goals, except for the calorie counting and the deficiency. Like, I've heard so much. So I was watching this app, or not watching this app, but I was actually watching this vlog on Instagram or whatever, and the guy was like, you should take your actual weight and like multiply it by a certain like number, and then that's your calories that you should intake. And that doesn't work for everybody. So I was kind of a little, I was confused.
Yeah.
So in the case of calorie deficiency, or just counting calories in general, is that something that you do? Would you recommend it? And if so, like, how?
So I guess it kind of depends. Everyone's body, everyone's goals are a little bit different, their activity levels. I mean, generally speaking, when you get into, tracking calories and stuff like that, there's been some other work done to build up to that, so that, because there's other things that need to be considered just with, what is your, caloric burn without any activity, for example, how active are you? So there's other things that kind of need to go into place. So that's really where you're working with a professional to kind of help guide that conversation. Like I said, there's also things like, there's apps and stuff out there that I kind of do this, that kind of give you that little, it gets you close.
Yeah.
And it's a place to start. so that you can start to make kind of eat.
Like make those adjustments.
Yeah, make those adjustments for yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. Like I know at one point you guys were doing something similar here. Like you had a whole coach for a small group of people because we'll have like some of the different events that you guys have, like Fit Boot Camp or Fit Terrain and stuff like that. And you know, you'll set us up with like a meal plan, or you'll set us up with like a specific amount of whatever we're supposed to eat. So do you offer that for like each session, or like if people wanted to come in and like learn specifically from you, is that something that you allow?
Yeah, so we do offer, we have different, I guess, different service levels.
Okay.
You know, ultimately for us, we really hit on 3 pillars. So we work with people on their fitness, so meeting them where they are and helping them to move their bodies in all planes of movement so that they get a, you know, total body workout.
Okay.
We work with people on their nutrition, and there's different levels to that. So, you know, sometimes it's, you know, providing, you know, lists for people to kind of start cleaning up their diet. If they're used to eating like a lot of processed foods and things, how can we clean our diet up so that we start to feel better? And then we have things all the way up to, you know, very specific and individual personalized nutrition as well.
Okay.
And then the third pillar is going to be accountability. So accountability can look different for different levels of service. So, you know, ultimately, we know that when we pair all 3 of those, where you have, you know, a solid workout plan, you have a solid foundation for nutrition, and you have that linchpin that connects the 2, fitness and nutrition, that's that accountability in the middle that keeps it together, that you're going to be successful. So that's kind of where our programming is centered around. And then there's, again, different levels. So, you know, we have where, you know, if you haven't been in classes and we haven't seen you in the studio for a few days, I mean, we're reaching out. And, you know, sometimes some people don't like that because it's like, guys, like, give me a break. It's like, hey, we care. We know this.
Yeah,
we know this.
Exactly. That's one thing I would say about, you know, Fit Therom Novi. Like, you guys are spot on. I remember for a short period of time, I like disappeared for a little bit. And I had Coach Mama or whatever her name is. I can't remember what her name was, but she hit me up and was like, "Hey, where you at?"
Yeah.
So or Mama B, that's what Mama it was. B, and I was like, you know, at first I'm one of those people. I'm super skeptical when it comes to getting text messages. I'm like, who is this person texting me? Like, I don't know who you are. But no, I was like, okay, and it was repeating, like she was repetitive, like she continued to do it if I didn't show up for a certain amount of time, and I was just like, this is really cool. Like then I got a sense of, like I got personal, like I actually met her one day and sat down and talked to her, and I was like, oh, you come out on the events, like when we're doing like the wellness walks and stuff like that, doing the suicide prevention walk and all that other stuff that you guys do. I'm like, oh, these people are actually part of this. Like they are actually part of the squad. This is what y'all do, you know, like the caring aspect. And I'm like, this is super cool. So that personally alone is the reason why I enjoy coming, because it's like I don't have to worry about somebody caring. I know you care. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's so cool. That's so cool. So I know you guys offer like vitamin supplements, and I know you guys offer like you have certain things that you offer here. So like, how will we be able to tap in? Like, first off, like what are the supplements? What do they do? Like just a quick rundown.
Yeah. So supplements essentially kind of fill nutritional gaps.
Okay.
So, you know, and we have different things from, you know, wellness related things. So daily vitamins.
Okay.
We have things like protein. And protein, like you can make all kinds of goodness stuff like cookies and like it's great. It's great. But also things to help improve the quality of your workouts. We do so like pre-workout, intra-workout, things that, you know, help you to stay, as I call it, stay in the burn, muscle endurance, stay in that burn a little bit longer, so that you can get more out of the rep in the workout. So
I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay, and I was just gonna say something about that, because so they have like different tricks that you see on the internet where they're talking about, oh, if you get up in the morning and exercise without eating, you'll stay in like a calorie deficit, like you'll continue to burn, or if you like eat when you wake up first thing in the morning, it's like an apple or something. Like, is that true?
You know, I think it depends on the individual. You know, if if you're talking to someone who is just getting into fitness, working out on an empty stomach, particularly a workout like this, is a recipe for disaster.
I believe it.
Because your body is not used to it. So we need to fuel our bodies so that we have what we need so that we can stay focused in the workout and then give the effort. You have some people who will do workouts fasted, so maybe they're using some of the excess food energy stored from the prior day. So everyone's a little bit different in terms of how they work out, but generally speaking, fasted or steady state workouts would be reserved for more like low impact things like that.
And that makes a lot of sense when I think about it. Because when you think about kickboxing and stuff like that, it's like that's high energy.
Yeah, high energy,
That's
high
real high
intensity. Those
energy,
heart rates are coming up.
Yeah.
We call it metabolic conditioning. So it's heart rate up, down with that resistance of the bags and the gloves. So
yeah, which is, oh my God, I freaking love a class. So yeah, I'm just thinking about these burpees I'm gonna have to do later. So anyway, but no, okay. So real quick, I just have a few other things that I wanted to touch on. So as you know, this is primarily health and wellness, but we also touch on beauty. And so I will say, I heard through through the grapevine from a little birdie that you happen to use True Royal Universe products.
I do, faithfully, daily.
Awesome! I'm glad to hear it.
Daily.
So, let me ask you this: like, as an entrepreneur and someone who's fast paced, what are some of the things that you've always looked for in like a skincare regimen, or like, how do you incorporate the products that you use in your daily life?
Yeah. So, I mean, convenience is one.
Okay.
Simple is. I'm a simple girl, simple lady.
Yeah.
I use the cucumber. I think it's cucumber face wash.
Yep.
So I use that. Coincidentally, so I also get facials. So I get facials once a month.
Okay.
And so I use the cucumber face wash, but I also use the serum. And I had run out of the serum, so I needed to get some more. So there was like a 2-week period in there where I didn't have it, and so I went to get a facial, and the ladies like picking blackheads out of the crease in my nose. And that had never happened before.
Wow.
And I ran out of it, so that I quickly got more.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah.
That's that citric acid. Like, I noticed that too. So I went 3 weeks without my cleanser, and I tell you no lies, I had so many breakouts on my face, and I was so upset. And I'm like, I worked so hard. Like, here I am, like 3 years, no major breakouts. You get your hormonal breakouts and stuff like that. But I was like, yeah. And so finally, I'm like, I get my cleanser back. I'm like, I'm washing my face. I'm doing what I got to do it immediately. It's like they're starting to disappear.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. So it's real. A lot of people don't know B3 and citric acid is one of the main components. And it takes time.
Okay.
But it does clear your pores out. It removes any excess oils without drying you out.
Yeah, and I noticed that because sometimes I use a moisturizer. Most days I try to. But I don't. And even in the days that I don't use a moisturizer, like my face doesn't feel all nasty and dry and stuff.
Yeah.
So which is nice.
Yeah, and that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we touched on that, you like your quick cleansers, you like your serums, you get your facial, gotta stay cute. I do want to touch on one more thing. As far as your day to day, what is one of the most important things that you would say you do from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to bed? Like, what is the most important thing for you? Like, and when I say that, I mean like to keep you motivated and to keep you going.
I think a big part. So I try to. For a long time, I was go, and I'm still kind of like that. I mean, like going back to college and taking like 28 credits and on the softball team, like it was insane. Like, and I've always been like that. And I didn't really know how to like slow down.
Okay.
And so I think that I've kind of given myself that space. So from my schedule to making sure that I wind down at night, so I am in the bed.
Okay.
I am like I.
Do you like unplug?
I kind of, but I mean, my big thing is like I pray a lot, and and so I find that when I pray that I am more consistently even killed. Like my outlook on things are more positive,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
It like changes your perspective.
it does. It
Yeah.
does. So, and then it's just a reminder to kind of keep my eyes open, my
Mm-hmm.
eyes, my heart
Mm-hmm.
open, even though what I'm asking for isn't necessarily going to come in the way that I want, but that
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to receive it.
I hear that. I hear
So,
that, and I
yeah.
can relate to that so much because it's like and I ain't gonna say a whole lot, but you know, understanding where I've come from to where I am,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing. It's like you have to stay meditating, you have to stay prayed up, you have to stay faithful to the
Yeah.
process because it's one of the things that so many people fail to realize, especially those who don't understand the entrepreneurial journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're not gonna see the results you want in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
You know, but you can see that stuff that you've moved and worked hard to maintain or achieve
Mm-hmm.
gone in a blink of an eye. So it's like you have to really be strategic as well as you have to motivate yourself to continue to push.
Yeah.
You know, even when you're tired.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No one's gonna do it unless you do it.
not at all.
So I mean,
So yeah.
you have to keep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like doubt in the back of your head. You gotta tell yourself, you know what, I ain't gonna listen to that.
Yeah.
It's okay. But oh my God. So thank you so much for having us yet again. This
Yes.
has been an amazing session. And I promise you, you guys need to come out to Fit Therom Novi. This is the place to be. You are gonna love every single class, from the coaches to the sense of community. This is where you guys want to come out to. But see y'all later. Bye.